Atlanta United Fan TV here with Jessica. Another scoreline that flatters us, and you know, we were treated to a Miggy masterclass and a Kratz free kick masterclass. What did you think of the game?
It's really hard to talk about, isn't it? I think that the last 20 minutes, excellent, but everything up until that 20 minutes was one of the poorest performances we've seen at home for a while. I don't think that's being over-exaggerating. I think that there's a lot that needed to be worked on. We'd made so much progress from the first game of the season away, but it seemed that we reverted back a little bit to some of our old habits. I think what really made it difficult for us in the first 60 minutes today was that we're a little too predictable. We've been famous for our wing play, and it's been exceptional, but today it just looked like we were forcing it. We've talked about forcing it, and sometimes you have to make decisions on the field that don't usually correlate with your usual style of play. So every time we got the ball central, we were looking wide. Well, Montreal read that like a book. They knew exactly where we were going. They were able to cut off the crosses. And I just
Act in that box.
Yeah, and I think the thing was, all the balls we delivered were the same. Loopy long balls that are far easier to defend than drilled low crosses. We saw the goalkeeper struggle. He made an excellent double save early on from Martinez, very early in the game. But after that, his hands were not sticking too nicely. And I think that we were giving him easy crosses to defend, and that the Montreal defenders were getting up and, you know, clearing nicely. Whereas if we drilled those balls in, we would have got a tap in early on. The other thing I thought was a little iffy from us was the back three today. Defensively, since the first game, we've been marvelous. But today we looked overexposed at the back. Every time, even when we were eventually winning, every time that Montreal got the ball and was attacking, we looked vulnerable at the back. I think that sometimes we're outnumbered when we have that back three, but unless the wing backs tuck in, you're 3 against 5 sometimes. So honestly, that's how I think the goal was scored. There was a free man in the box because Gressel didn't tuck in enough, and I'm not going to critique. We know we love Gresselmania. We love him, but I think that he didn't look across. Potentially he needs to tuck in, because if they're loading the box and we've got 3 center defenders, we need our wing backs to tuck in more. And I think that
Not a natural defender, so.
Exactly, but the formation we play forces him to play more defensive at times, and you can be the best forward, like you can play amazingly going forward, but if you don't get back, you're going to expose the team. But that's all the negative stuff out the way, you know. What can you say? Going forward towards the end, once we switched it up and we started playing centrally, everything positive today came from playing more direct. It's not something I want to encourage all the time, but it's about that variety. The penalty came from a more direct chip ball, which is far harder to defend. It's far harder to defend something that's chipped in short than a loopy long ball that you have 8 seconds to defend. So that's where the PK came from. And then, you know, the free kicks, they're both down the center of the field. Why? Because when we attack down the center of the field, Montreal can't handle us. When we were running at them with pace, when Miggy was running at them, when Barker was running at them centrally, and we kept going, they couldn't contain it. Yet why move the ball wide when it's clearly working down the middle? And for the last 20 minutes when we were playing direct down the middle, it was fabulous. It was so much better. So we know that sometimes we have this excellent style of play where we like to go wide, but you have to be able to change and switch it up. And I think that today,
Tata did.
He made the aggressive substitution at halftime. At first I was like, man, Jeff, it seemed a little harsh on him. I don't think he had a bad game, but we needed to go out and win the game. And I think he must have known, we all knew it. Montreal's record, 2-5 coming in. As soon as they conceded, that was it. Their heads dropped and they're like, well, here we go again. And I think that Tata knew that we needed a goal. We needed a goal early, and after that goal, the game was ours. And it was only ever going one way after that. I think as soon as the first goal was in, the second goal, floodgates opened, and it could have kept going. So, Kratz, man, what can you say about Kratz?
Yeah, I think you bailed us out today because it looked so much better when he came on through just actual play and his free kick.
I mean, yeah, I think he's a strong player that maybe doesn't get as many game time as he deserves at times, but his set pieces were fabulous. I think the second one was better than the first. I think the first one, I'm not going to take it away from him. Potentially the wall was a little iffy because it went wall side, goalkeeper maybe didn't line his wall up well enough, but the second one, posting in, you can't do anything better than that. If you hit the post and it goes in, goalkeeper's frozen because it was the perfect free kick. So Kratz, excellent. And one last shout out, Nagby. I know he ended up playing more defensive than usual, but his ball distribution and his control on the ball, I could sing his praises every single day because I love how he plays. And Barco as well, much improved. When he runs at the ball, we just have to be a little more direct sometimes. It's okay not to score a 10 out of 10 worldie goal. It's okay to be scrappy. It's okay. Because at the end of the day, what matters more, winning scrappily, or losing or tying pretty? I'll take the win every day, and that's what I'll take today. Excellent.
Perfect. Thank you so much.